If a man goes quiet, pay attention, because silence from a man is rarely what people think it is.
Is anybody else feeling so frustrated with the fact that they're single?
We are losing men to peace.
Men can't believe that women are single by choice because men aren't single by choice.
I am okay to finish my life being single.
Women are single and celibate by choice. Men are single and celibate for a reason.
As somebody who's coached a lot of men and a lot of women, I will say that if you find love anywhere in the world, I'm happy for you. I really don't care what country it's in. Now, I think the issue is when people think about the passport bros and they think about what it is that they stand for, a lot of people are thinking about the fact that they're going to these other countries, they're only trying to buy women's time. They're talking to women who aren't wholesome, or they're talking to women who are SWs, if you know what I mean by that. I, as a man, can honestly say that if American women said they wanted to go to Italy or to France or to the UK to meet guys, I literally do not care, like at all. I want you to be happy. If they treat you better, go there. So I'll say as a man, if you're going to these other countries to meet women, at the very least, you should be willing to try to learn the language, learn the culture, get to know these women as people, and you're not leveraging your money just to get laid. I think it's really triggering for people to talk about going overseas or dating while you're overseas because everyone gets mad about American men ain't shit, American women ain't shit. And for some people, it's just not that deep. Now, for the guys that want to go to other countries because these women have nothing and you think you can offer them something and they're going to be reliant on you for some sort of green card or, financial whatever, I think you're a weirdo. So I think whatever your definition of a passport bro really is, it could be good, it could be bad, it could be indifferent. But as long as you're not taking advantage of other people, I really don't care what other adults do to find love.
The buffet had options, and he made his selections. 6 figures, property, freedom, peace, and walked straight past the drama. That's not a rejection. That's a rational man doing math.
Have the men given up? I'm serious.
No, but a great many of them have actually lost interest.
They just stopped. They don't want to have sex anymore. They don't want to go on dates with women. They just want to hang out with their boys. Look, I get it.
If someone gets it, then why are they even asking the question? Seems odd.
Men want to hang out with men. They want to do their thing. They don't want to care about women drama anymore.
Well, it seems they understand. Most men are tired of women's drama and they're happier hanging out with other guys. So what's the point of this video?
Maybe someone can explain to me what's going on, because as long as men are not approaching women, they are going to be single.
Wow. It's almost like that's the entire point. They keep answering their own questions. Does anyone else notice that?
And women are having a great time. From what I've seen, single women are having a great time. Yes, maybe they want boyfriends, they want to hook up, but single women are having a great time. The single men, I don't know, not so much. What do you think?
I think that someone has actually answered all of the questions already in this video, with the exception of the fact that someone doesn't seem to understand that men that are single are just as happy, if not happier, than a lot of single women out there. Because you don't really see a lot of men asking where all the good women are at. They're just happier being single.
The dog delivers unconditional loyalty with zero manipulation. At this point, the dog is outperforming the competition by a significant margin.
Things that guys do that are for girls only.
Little ironic, isn't it, that some women seem to think gender roles are perfectly acceptable as long as they're gatekeeping things that are only for the girls.
Complaining about how much things cost.
Well, considering most women think that guys should pay for everything involving dates, they absolutely have every right to complain if something is too expensive in their opinion.
'Cause what do you mean? Oh my gosh, this steak costs $60.
I would have to agree. I would say that $60 for a steak is a bit exorbitant, but how are they going to try to twist this?
Buddy, do you have an idea of how much the foundation on my face costs?
No. Women wear makeup for themselves, remember? So whose fault is it anyway that someone paid that much money to look a certain way, just for themselves?
Get your wallet out and pay the bill!
How elegant some women are. Can't imagine why so many guys are choosing to remain single.
I'm not getting married.
A vast majority of the good women that you want are going to expect marriage.
I can have a long-term girlfriend, stay with her forever, be monogamous, have 7 children with her. What changes?
He essentially wants marriage just without the government contract.
Right. Why does the government contract scare you so much?
Financial liability. And I don't need the government involved. And I don't need some woke the judge telling me how I should distribute my money and how the assets should go. And, oh, my wife cheats on me. And we've been married for 15 years. In California, I have to pay her alimony for her entire life. The government, the laws. Marriage is a contract, and I'm a businessman. When I look at what marriage is from a legal perspective, it's a terrible contract. Oh, here's a woman who didn't help you build your business at all, and at any moment she could be cheating on me, or even if there's no cheating, she could just be like, well, I don't like him anymore. Now he has to pay me for the rest of my life X amount of money. That's f***ing
clean house, no drama, money in the bank, and eating well. This man accidentally described the ideal life while thinking he was describing a consolation prize. The system sold commitment as the goal, and men are realizing the alternative is just better.
Is anybody else feeling so frustrated with the fact that they're single? Like, I understand that it's God's timing, and when I tell you I trust in that man with my whole life, I mean it. But it doesn't change the fact that I'm still frustrated about it. And that's okay, because I'm being raw with my feeling. God wants us to bring our feelings to him and be vulnerable with them. And if I'm being vulnerable, I'm so frustrated. And I know I can't be the only one. So if you're feeling the same way, let's talk about it. What are you struggling with? Because I know I can't be the only one that's feeling this way. And it's so frustrating when people tell you it'll happen when you least expect it, or are your standards too high, or like all the other things that people tell you. Because I have faith in people. I know that there's wonderful people out there. I'm not saying that the dating scene is trash or anything, because I know that there's wonderful people. I think social media has clouded a lot of things and made it more difficult for people to find authentic relationships. But I think that there's wonderful, wonderful people out there. I'm just saying that I know I can't be the only one that's feeling so frustrated in this season of my life. And I know that God will provide, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm so frustrated. So if you're feeling this, or if you resonate with this, let's all talk about it, because I don't think it's talked about enough.
Let's be honest. Marriage is officially the worst investment a man can make in 2026. We keep asking why men are staying single. But look at the actual cost-benefit analysis. He's expected to be the provider, the protector, and pay every single bill on time. And what does he get in return? A permanent roommate who's grumpy 6 days a week. We've reached a point where men are subs in their lifestyle for women who don't even like them. If a man ran his business the way he runs his marriage, he'd be bankrupt in a month. He's putting in 100% of the capital for a 1% return on intimacy if he's lucky. Since when did once a month become the standard for a high-performance partnership? Ladies, we can't demand traditional provision while offering zero traditional peace. Modern women want a CEO husband, but offer the attitude of a disgruntled middle manager. Why would a rational man sign a contract where he loses half his assets if she gets bored? It's not fear of commitment. It's a basic understanding of a bad trade. We've priced ourselves out of the market, and we're wondering why the buyers are leaving. If there's no peace, no intimacy, and no financial logic, what exactly is the benefit here?
9 years alone and unbothered, while women online post daily about not finding good men. The decisions made in their 20s weren't random. The consequences aren't either.
Women are choosing being single over settling. Men are going to stay lonely until they accept why that is. And I want to be clear about what I mean. This is not about women hating men. This is about women adapting to a cultural shift that men haven't caught up to yet. There's a generation of men who were taught that showing up financially was enough, that emotional availability was optional, that household responsibilities, emotional labor, that was a her department. And women tolerated it because the alternative was harder. It's not harder anymore. Women are leaving unengaged partners. They're leaving men who won't work on the relationship, won't balance the responsibilities of a house, won't show up emotionally. And then they're looking at what's available and deciding that being alone is actually the better option. Divorced women are choosing not to date again in significant rates. Not because they hate men, because the effort required to manage another one isn't worth what they're getting back. So if men are lonely, the question worth asking is not what women are doing wrong, it's this. Do you want to stay lonely, or do you want to adapt? Because women already did.
This is massive fucking cope. It's truly wild watching women continue to repeat this stuff to each other like it's some deep intellectual breakthrough, as if we're supposed to sit here and pretend this shit's insightful. No, because this is the same recycled feminist bullshit that we've been hearing for years.
Investing, traveling, building businesses, spending money on himself. This isn't a man who lost something. This is a man who escaped something and is thriving in the aftermath.
I just saw a guy post a video about 5 reasons why everyone's single right now. And it was just, he hit all the points so perfectly. If I remember his name, I'll like drop his name or tag it in the comments. But there was one point he talked about in particular that I thought was so interesting that not a lot of people talk about why everyone is single. And it's actually something I've seen a lot, especially used kind of as an excuse for men. But I just thought this point was really interesting. Because the obvious reasons are, you know, social media, dating apps, etc., has ruined dating, which we know this. Yes, that's true. But another point he made is that a lot of people, like older generations, when they met when they were like super poor, or like they didn't have to be like in a certain place in life in order to get into a relationship and get married. And now we see a lot of people today who use that as an excuse to not get into a relationship or not want something serious or not want marriage. They say that they need to do X, Y, and Z, or they need to make a certain amount of money in order to be in a relationship or feel comfortable to take something seriously. And I especially see this with men a lot, men that I've talked to, men that my girlfriends have talked to, even guy friends that I've talked to who are almost 30 and still not ready because they're not where they want to be in life, or they're not making a certain amount of money, or don't have that business that they've been wanting to start, which to a certain extent I get. Sometimes you do need to focus on yourself and you really just don't have time to bring another person into your life. But it gets to a certain point where I just feel like it's like, I'm sorry, but you're going to end up being single for the rest of your life. Like, I think that if you want a family, then prioritizing getting into a relationship is something that should be important to you, especially when you're in your late 20s. Because you're going to start running out of options. People are going to start getting into relationships and getting married, and your options become more and more limited the older you get. And one example I can think of is somebody that I know who is in their mid-30s already, and is someone who is like posting and like reposting content about like having to like work on yourself, or like kings chase the crown and don't chase the queen, like that type of content. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but and this is a person that has said that like they do want to get married and have a family one day. And I'm like, you're already in your mid-30s and you're like consuming and liking this kind of content of like you still need to keep working on yourself and like achieve all these things, like just obviously like not prioritizing or like wanting to put any sort of effort into starting some sort of serious relationship. Like, I don't know. I really don't understand it, because to me, I think that you can always work on yourself and better yourself even while in a relationship. Like, isn't that the whole point? Like, you're going to change and grow, but you're going to do that with somebody who is there to support you and be in your corner. And I think that whole aspect of a relationship is so cool. And like, I am someone who wants a family and kids. If you don't ever want a family and kids, and obviously it's not something you ever need to prioritize, but I don't know. It's just something I've seen time and time again with like guys, especially that like I've talked to, or just like guy friends of like, they're already in their late 20s or early 30s and they're still not ready to settle down because they're not in the certain place that they want to be in life. And like my parents, for example, they have been happily married for a long time and met when they were both super poor. And my mom just knew that my dad was a really hard worker, had a lot of ambition and drive in life, and wanted to grow with him, and they did together. My mom was able to become a stay-at-home mom because my dad now makes a lot of money, but he wasn't when they first met, and my mom was actually making more money than him when they first met. And yeah, I feel like we've like completely lost that. Like, I don't know, I think it's just really interesting. Like, I think our culture a lot really emphasizes this like self, like you need to like work on yourself and like self-improvement and self-growth. And it's like, yes, to a certain extent you do, and it is important, but it just gets to a certain point where it's like, if you're not going to put any sort of effort into trying to like meet people or get into like a serious relationship and having a family and kids is something you want, it's like, then like, how are you going to get that? Like, I don't know. Does anybody else like feel this way or have experienced this? But it's really crazy to me, because I'm like, you're already like I'm like, dude, what do you mean you're not ready yet? Like you're literally running out of time. Like, and I guess for women too, it's like women who like want kids maybe think about it more than guys who want kids. It's like we do have like a biological clock in a sense. Guys don't really have to worry about that as much. So maybe that's like part of the reason too, but I don't know. I just find it so interesting. And yeah, it's like you can still work on yourself while getting into a relationship. Like, I just don't understand.
Fair point. Some men do leave once they've built themselves up, but the honest follow-up question is what the relationship looked like during those years. Support is not the same as entitlement to the outcome.
No. See, women are choosing to be single by choice because they don't want to do the men's laundry anymore. They don't want to clean up after him, fix him dinner after working all day themselves, because what partnership can actually have one partner stay home while the other one earns a living? No one. And men who are bachelors lean into that lifestyle because they know it's edgy and cool, and that they're frustrated, angry, married men will be jealous, and it looks so cool. But the reality is that these men would trade it all away just to have some woman wipe their butts, do their laundry, fix them dinner, and have sex with them whenever they wanted. Instead of them having to go out into the wild and try to hunt it down themselves, like it's just ready and available every night when they come home. That's the difference. You guys, and women aren't gonna settle. We're done taking care of you. We're done wiping your butts.
Do you think most women actually like men?
No, I'm glad that you mentioned that in the book. Another ugly truth that guys need to get through their head. Most women don't like you guys. They just don't. A majority of women do not like a majority of men. However, a majority of men absolutely like a majority of women. And that creates obviously an imbalance. And I would argue that, back to our discussion earlier with feminism, since most women naturally already don't like most men, with technology, women entering the workforce, education, all this other stuff, them being able to provide for themselves essentially in a modernized society where they don't need men, it makes it even worse for men because now they really don't like you and they don't have to deal with you. It used to be a woman would deal with a guy because she wanted to get married, have kids, whatever, she needed him, so she would be willing to deal with a more average guy. Now they make their own money and everything else like that. Now they really don't need men. They never liked us that much anyway, right? And I want to be clear because some people might say, oh, Myron, what do you mean? I am being a bit hyperbolic, but what I'm saying is this. It's not that they necessarily hate you guys, but it's you guys are invisible to them.
Men want a partner, not a rehabilitation project. Absorbing dysfunction, playing therapist, and parenting a grown adult while getting nothing back isn't a relationship. It's unpaid labor with emotional damage on top.
What's going on with women these days? We used to be a lot happier than men, and now we're not. What happened?
What you've found is that over the past 20 years or so, women have converged downward to the unhappiness levels of men. And at first I thought, great, men are getting happier. Women are getting unhappier. That's what we find. And they're getting unhappier very quickly. And so there's a lot of different theories of it. You find that there's a lot less family formation going on. There's a lot less marriage. You find that men and women are diverging politically really, really quickly. You find that women are getting much more politically progressive and men are getting more conservative. And so the result of it is that, especially in a culture where people think that the most important thing for making a romantic match is voting for the same party idiotically, social media is especially targeted at young women. It's creating a whole lot of misery with the social comparison, with political hatred, with the sense of loneliness that's crawling out of people's smartphones. And all these things together are creating an epidemic of unhappiness among women, especially young women in our society today.
Work was always a grind. Family made it bearable. Strip that away, and it's just a hamster wheel for someone else's benefit. Social media made it worse by turning materialism into a competition with no finish line. Character means nothing. Flexing is everything. The bar for enough is designed to never be reached.
What do you think about the men who choose to remain bachelors?
It's funny because I probably have that mindset this day and age. I just turned 44 today. Today is my birthday. But when I was in my early 20s, I thought about marriage and settling down. But now it's like the bachelor life is better. You know, people out here getting married and getting divorced a couple months later. So until you find true love and happiness, there's nothing wrong with being a bachelor.
if you've got a little black book of 3, 4, 5, 6 women that you can call, take care of everything you need on that Friday. Maybe you have one that dresses up nice and comes to the company picnic with you. Maybe you've got one that's just down and dirty and shows up in a high heels and a trench coat. Why would you give that up for marriage when you're going to get divorced? She's going to take the kids. She's going to take your money. And she's going to destroy you. There is no net benefit today for men to get married.
Marriage itself isn't the problem. The legal framework wrapped around it is. The government turned a personal commitment into a financial liability with a 50% failure rate. Remove the state from the equation and the math changes entirely. This isn't a both sides need to understand each other situation. That framing paper's over a very one-sided pattern. Men built, contributed, showed up, and got penalized for it legally, financially, and socially. The mass exodus from dating and marriage isn't a cultural glitch. It's a logical response to a broken incentive structure. Until the conditions that drove men out actually change, the conversation about mutual understanding is just noise. Thanks for watching MGTOW Voice. Show us your love by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Support us and help spread awareness for men around the world. We welcome a healthy debate and discussion, so feel free to comment and share your thoughts.